Logan Paul to dethrone Roman Reigns at WWE Crown Jewel. WWE Raw viewership drastically fall. Update on Triple H's condition after missing WWE Raw due to Covid-19. Backstage plans for Braun Strowman and Omos. Becky Lynch ready to return. Bray Wyatt doesn't deserve a title. Let's jump right into our first story. WWE Raw viewership drastically fall. Viewership for this week's episode of Monday Night Raw saw a slight dip compared to last week. 1.803 million viewers tuned in on average across its 3 hours of broadcast. With the show facing fierce competition from the NFL on Monday night, viewership has dropped the sub-2 million mark over the past 5 weeks. This week's viewership is the second highest in a 5-week span, having only been beaten by the 1.824 million viewers last week. The rating for the key demographic of 1849-year-olds was also down this week, with it going from 0.55 to 0.50 in a week. It should be noted that last week's boost in viewership and demo ratings can partly be attributed to an advertised appearance by Bray Wyatt. The Eater of Worlds returned to WWE after over a year at Extreme Rules the night before. The live appearance did not happen. Wyatt instead appeared on SmackDown to cut an impassioned promo. Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics tweeted out the viewership metrics for this week's episode of Raw. He reports that this week's episode of The Red Brand was still in the top 5 cable shows of the night for the 18 minutes 49 demographic. This week's episode of WWE Raw did a lot of things across its 3-hour span, and most of them are right. The show opened with a pull-apart brawl between Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar, with the Almighty putting the Beast Incarnate through the announcer's table. A match between the two at Crown Jewel on November 5th was then made official. The first match of the night was the OC's first match since returning last week, with the duo beating Alpha Academy. The Judgment Day then confronted AJ Styles and the OC, making a 6-man tag match official for Crown Jewel. A solid promo by the United States champion Seth Rollins was interrupted by Mustafa Ali, who challenged for the title later in the night. This was followed by Damage CTRL picking up a win against Candice LeRae and Bianca Belair. Next came Hall of Famer JBL, who will now manage Baron Corbin. Corbin then beat Dolph Ziggler in a match. Then came a backstage segment of The Miz, and one for Omos and MVP. For the surprise of the night, Dominik Mysterio beat AJ Styles in a singles match with the help of his stablemates. Dexter Lumis and The Miz's story moved forward as the latter attacked the former before they could have a match. Johnny Gargano then threatened the A-lister, teasing to reveal a secret on next week's Raw. Elias returned and reintroduced himself to the WWE Universe and was interrupted by Matt Riddle. Then came the main event of the night, the US title match between Rollins and Riddle. The back-and-forth bout ended when Elias caused a distraction, leading to Riddle losing the match. Mustafa Ali then walked out to make the US title scene a 4-man story. Update on Triple H's condition after missing WWE Raw due to Covid-19. Recent reports regarding Triple H's condition after testing positive for Covid-19 have come to the fore. WWE Chief Content Officer Triple H was absent from this week's episode of Monday Night Raw after testing positive for Covid-19. Senior Vice President of Live Events Road Dogg was reportedly responsible for overseeing the show. According to the latest report from Fight Select, the game is doing fine, and the script for The Red Brand was written by Sunday evening. The show reportedly drew 1,803,000 viewers and scored 0.50 in the coveted 18 minutes 49 demographic. Triple H was appointed the new head of creative following Vince McMahon's departure. The former announced his retirement from in-ring competition earlier this year and had a farewell at WrestleMania 38 Night 2. The Cerebral Assassin appeared on Raw last week with X-Pac, Shawn Michaels, and Road Dogg as part of D-Generation X's 25th anniversary celebrations. The Cerebral Assassin is undoubtedly one of the most decorated superstars in the WWE history. He's a 14-time world champion and a multi-time WrestleMania main eventer. Speaking on his Click This podcast, Kevin Nash commented on why the game might not get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame on his own. You know, Paul should be in the Hall of Fame on his own. He should be in the Hall of Fame, but he never will be because he will never put himself in there. And so, the DX situation for him was, okay, they had to get Chyna in, Paul needed to be in, and so, said Nash. The King of Kings was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame as part of DX in 2019. Despite missing this week's programming of The Red Brand, the game will likely be present at next week's Raw. As the promotion gears up for Crown Jewel on November 5th, it remains to be seen what plans he will have up his sleeve to have the crowd on the edge of their seats. Backstage plans for Braun Strowman and Omos. Former Universal Champion Braun Strowman seemed set for a monstrous clash at WWE Crown Jewel 2022. The company has been putting the superstar against Omos regularly in the build-up to the show. A recent report has now revealed the plans for the Nigerian giant heading into the Saudi Arabia event. Omos is officially a part of the WWE Raw roster, but last week, he made an appearance during SmackDown. Together with his manager MVP, he showed up in the crowd and stared down Strowman. WWE previously hinted the two would face each other, but MVP finally issued a challenge to Strowman on behalf of his client. Braun Strowman, I give credit where it's due. You're without question one incredibly impressive specimen, but monster of all monsters. Have you not seen the 7-foot, 3-inch, 403-pound Nigerian giant? Omos. I mean, let's be real. Standing next to him you look normal. My advice to you would be not to be too comfortable because some monsters were meant to stay in the shadows. According to a report by PW Insider, Omos and MVP will be making appearances on both Raw and SmackDown moving forward. However, the report clarified that they had not been moved to the SmackDown roster. The plan appears to be only for Omos to face Braun Strowman at Crown Jewel 2022. The duo appeared on the latest edition of Raw as well. They acknowledged that Strowman might be a monster, but that didn't matter as the former Raw Tag Team Champion was a giant. MVP asserted that, unlike monsters, giants were real. Omos and MVP also confirmed that they will be heading to WWE SmackDown this week to confront the superstar. Their presence on the blue brand this week could see an official confirmation of the match between the two men. The clash will likely take place at Crown Jewel on November 5th. It will be interesting to see who will come out on top in this battle of Behemoth. Who do you think will win when Omos battles Braun Strowman? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Becky Lynch ready to return. It's been quite a while since we've seen Becky Lynch on WWE programming. The man has been out of action after suffering a separated shoulder in her match against Bianca Belair at this year's SummerSlam. Lynch went up against Belair at the biggest party of the summer to finally settle their heated year-long rivalry for the Raw Women's Championship. Unfortunately, she was struck with the injury during the early stages of the match, but was able to tough it out until the end and complete the storyline. Both superstars would then embrace each other as a sign of respect after putting on an incredible bout, with Lynch getting written off TV later on Raw. It appears that Big Time Bex has been healing up well as she recently appeared without her arm brace at the Advertising Week event in New York City. The WWE Universe is hopeful that the man will make her return to the company soon so she can get her well-deserved vengeance on Bayley and the rest of Damage Control. We'll have to wait and see when Becky Lynch will be cleared to compete once again. After suffering a separated shoulder at SummerSlam, it was certain that Lynch would need time off to recuperate. But the question on most people's minds is when it could be in the cards for the man to make her grand entrance into the company again. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, Lynch is expected to come back to Monday Night Raw sometime around the end of the year. However, that's still far away and not a complete guarantee as far as these types of injuries are concerned. It was also reported by various wrestling news outlets that Becky Lynch may appear in WWE sometime in September, but it's now been revealed that was never in the cards to begin with. Fortunately, Lynch was able to avoid undergoing surgery for her shoulder, which could have pushed her return to sometime next year. The man is instead taking the physical therapy route to recover and will be ready for action when the time eventually comes. Hopefully, Big Time Bex will be able to return in time for WrestleMania season. Who do you want to see Becky Lynch face off with when she makes her return? Sound off below. Bray Wyatt doesn't deserve a title. A top WWE superstar has weighed in on the return of Bray Wyatt and his future on the blue brand. The Eater of Worlds is adored by the WWE Universe. The audience has shown plenty of love for Wyatt's creative characters such as The Fiend and the Firefly Funhouse cast. Last week, Bray made his return to the company after 14 months of inactivity. Many fans want Wyatt to immediately go after the bloodline, most importantly Roman Reigns. The Tribal Chief defeated The Fiend and Braun Strowman to win the Universal Championship at Payback 2020. On her latest YouTube stream, Ronda Rousey weighed in on what she thinks Bray Wyatt should be doing after his return. Interestingly, the SmackDown Women's Champion doesn't seem to think the Eater of Worlds needs to go after the bloodline so soon. I would have Bray do something else, not go for the title right away. He doesn't need to be in the title picture right now. He's like compelling enough on his own, he doesn't need that. He doesn't need that to be the stakes, you know what I mean. It's an interesting take on Wyatt's character, as he became popular due to his sheer creativity and dedication to his craft rather than collecting world titles. The King of Kings made several changes once he became the Chief Content Officer after Vince McMahon's retirement from WWE. Since then, Triple H has brought back several superstars who were released under the old management and brought a fresh perspective to the product. Bray Wyatt is one of the biggest stars on the planet, and Triple H didn't waste much time in bringing him back into the fold. Speaking to The Wrap, the game explained how the team came up with Wyatt's return with the White Rabbit teasers. We asked ourselves how we could bring back Bray Wyatt in the most engaging way possible. So we created the White Rabbit Project, intended to lead our audience down this literal rabbit hole of content to help build anticipation for Wyatt's return at Extreme Rules on Peacock. It will be interesting to see what the new management does with Wyatt and who will be the first superstar to go head-to-head against the Eater of Worlds. Do you want to see Bray Wyatt win the titles from Roman Reigns? Sound off in the comments section below. Logan Paul to dethrone Roman Reigns at WWE Crown Jewel. Current WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Ronda Rousey wants Roman Reigns to put Logan Paul over at the Crown Jewel Premium Live event. The Maverick and the Tribal Chief are scheduled to collide for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship for the first time ever in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This will be the former's first title opportunity since signing with the company a few months ago. Speaking on her YouTube gaming stream, Ronda Rousey stated that WWE should book Logan Paul to defeat Roman Reigns for the coveted title in order to legitimize him as a top star. If I was booking it, I would have Logan Paul beat Roman Reigns. I would. For whatever plethora of reasons, he's one of the biggest draws right now. You want to be able to put him over. You want to legitimize him. Roman Reigns doesn't have anybody to feud with right now. That would give Roman Reigns something to do and would actually elevate Roman Reigns to be in a back and forth with Logan, said Rousey. The Maverick is a major name outside of wrestling, as he has a big social media following, and he's had a boxing match with Floyd Mayweather. His brother, Jake Paul, has also shared the ring with renowned athletes in combat sports. The baddest woman on the planet believes that WWE should cater to the Paul brothers to make them feel at home. My goals would be to make sure the Paul brothers have a great F-King time. You put them over hardcore and make it so they want to make this their home. They're going to be making less money doing this than those boxing fights. The only way you're going to be doing something making less money with your time is because you love it more. They have to basically court them. Logan Paul is currently scheduled to appear on this week's episode of WWE SmackDown. It'll be interesting to see what he will do or say during the show. Do you agree with Ronda Rousey's take? Sound off in the comments below.
Keys bleeding from the words I spit. So sharp, so freezing, so cold. Behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe in fate, don't believe in ceilings. I just need a taste and my mind starts peeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on kneeling. Got lust for change.